So that's exciting news. It is our congregational meeting. This has been weeks in coming. We did have to cancel our chili cook-off just because you can only freeze the chili so many times, right? And then it just kind of gets nasty. But we're going to still offer you the information for the congregational meeting. The church council is there before you. Garland Simrell is our chairman. Russ Bain is our secretary. Tom Clarkson is adult discipleship. If you have an idea for a Bible study, you'd like to see something different, that's usually what I do. I said, Tom, what do you want to do? And he gives me some ideas, and we just kind of work from there. Carl Schneider is doing a great job with the youth. His family kind of organizes the Sunday school, and we have not done any youth outings. It's just impossible nowadays, but hopefully in the near future, we're going to try to make that happen. Properties, Dan Hill and Pete Marty. Pete has fixed almost everything in the church, and it's awesome. We are in incredible shape from a physical plant standpoint, and our campus looks amazing. It's bright. All the light switches work. This building was aging, and so Pete's really brought it back to life, and we thank him for that. There's only a couple things that we need to hit. One of them is the pews. We're going to talk about that. But evangelism is still vacant. Laura McKee is our financial secretary, and I don't know if you knew that there's been a trade-off. Jan Waugh did a great job. I know that Jan's probably watching this morning. Thank you for your work. And Laura has stepped into those very big shoes to fill. That's not a comment on her size of her foot either. It's just a lot of work that she did. And so we're very thankful for Laura to do that. And she's going to work through some of that learning curve. Penny Recht is doing a great job as our treasurer, and Tom Parsley is our elder. And we've been trying to follow up on members as best we can during the pandemic season. The agenda is the same as always. We just kind of go through what our plans are. Our food pantry is easily our biggest impact in the community. And when people see us, I never imagined, and Steve Robleski is working the food pantry. Would you say about half of the people who come every week are brand new, Steve? Yeah. That is amazing. One of the goals for a church is to always get new people in the door. Well, we don't actually welcome them in the door, but we do give them food, and there's so many people who are in need. And it's been a great opportunity to help our community and kind of be a lightning rod for the community to give back. I know that we've had some kids from one of the local high schools helping out because it's hard to get volunteer hours. Random people will just show up at our church door and give us food or money, which is outstanding. And God has used this ministry to help a lot of people who are in need. The chili cook-off didn't happen, but it will next year, I promise. Well, assuming the weather holds, but yeah. Hopefully it'll happen. Imagining movies is happening. I'm kind of excited about this because some of the schools are getting involved with this. We're going to try to tap into some of their drama departments, and it could be an awesome outreach after people are willing to come out. But that is growing little by little. Here is a list. The goal about 3 or 4 years ago, we kind of started a new program. We wanted to do one outreach event each month, not on a Sunday. We will still do Sunday events, but those are not technically outreach events because there's a carrot attached in worship. So we just want to offer just some way for the community to gather together. And next month is board games, and we're going to just kind of see what life is like in the world, and our council will talk about it. And the theme is always, we don't want to make the news. We don't want to be a super spreader event. That'd be bad. So we're going to try to have a board game weekend and just invite the community to come out. And I think after people feel comfortable, they're going to come out like crazy because they've been cooped up for so long and they just want to do something. And we're kind of excited about some of the things that we have to offer. We will post these slides, of course, on our website so you can see them. You don't need to write it down now. But the outreach plan, again, kind of each month, 1 or 2 things as we try to reach out to everyone. If you're interested in chipping in or helping out, any one thing, that's what we've kind of found works well. Just one person to do the Twitter feed, one person to take over any one little part of this helps. And so there's about, 20 different things people can do to try to get the word out for these events. And if everyone takes one little thing, we just kind of scratch the surface. And again, there's not much to do right now anyway. But as we get ramped back up, as COVID lifts from our nation, it's kind of exciting. Adult Discipleship, we are still doing Zoom Bible studies. There's one on Wednesday that has grown. That's been a lot of fun. I know that a lot of people work during the week, but if you're available Wednesday mornings at 10:30, that's been great. The other one is Sunday mornings at 9 o'clock. So if you're watching us online, join in and check us out. I've talked to fellow clergy in North Carolina, and they get a little discouraged when you talk about a Zoom Bible class because not everyone likes it. I have to beat them down with a stick because they talk too much, and we have to keep on going. It's a lot of fun. They talk about happy hour with their family and friends on Zoom. It's a great time. And what I love about it is that there is a Bible study going on, but the fellowship that the people enjoy and how they encourage each other. You ask, how are you doing? How is the family? So-and-so was sick. One member's going through cancer treatments. All of this, we just encourage each other in these Bible studies. And so even if you want to come on a Sunday morning, you can still participate in that 9 a.m. Bible study just being here. It's very easy to slap down one of these 4 cameras and turn on Zoom, and you'll be in. So that's exciting that we have more opportunities now. The one on Wednesdays is called Joy Completed, and you're looking at encouraging words from those epistles from the Apostle John. The ladies group, my goodness, that group is going very, very strong. And if you are interested, every other Wednesday they get together. They're going through a book by Barbara Johnson, I Add My 2 Cents, and they just kind of encourage each other, which is a lot of fun. And then Lawful is the Bible study in the morning. We're looking at the commands of our God. Not just the 10 Commandments, though. We looked at the Great Commission. Next Sunday, we're going to be looking at the Beatitudes. And our God says, blessed are you. That's not optional. So what exactly does he mean? How are you happy and blessed? So that's exciting to go through. And next week, this is the 3rd week in a row that we have not offered wisdom from 2021. But hopefully, assuming that the weather holds and everything's good, we will be able to offer you another Bible study following worship as well, which is great. And of course, there's other ways where you can plug into your Lord and Savior. That is the primary goal of our church, obviously, to be that beacon of light in a dark world and to point them to Jesus in the Word. Next up is Carl Schneider, and there are still online opportunities for Sunday school. I know a lot of you are still cooped up and locked up at home. Our church body has made, and they're continuing to make, online Bible study lessons. You can buy one of the booklets. I think it's less than $10. And you can have that study with your family at home. And it's a great opportunity just to spend some time. You don't have to do it during church if you don't want to. And if you come, of course, we will offer a Sunday school lesson most Sundays. This Sunday is, of course, the exception, but that's what we're going to try to do. Confirmation is going well as well. There's a few families who have jumped into that. And I'm excited about the new curriculum that has been put out by our church body. And Dan Hill and the properties. There's just daily maintenance that goes on. I know Ed still runs through the church once a week and makes sure that the trash gets out. Pete's here almost every day making sure that the humidifier in the basement gets empty. There's just little things that have been going on to make our church click, even during the pandemic, that guys have been extremely faithful. The most recent thing that was fixed was the riprap on the side of the church parking lot. If you come, you can see how that was re-landscaped, basically. They planted grass. Pete brought a load of dirt. It looks great, and so that is awesome. The last 2 things on the list are the pews, and we're going to talk about those. And then, of course, the altar stone behind me. The wall's kind of falling apart. It has been probably ever since it was made. The mortar's just kind of falling down, and so we're talking about sealing that. Some of us are a little worried that that's kind of high in the air, and we don't necessarily want Pete necessarily to go up there by himself alone, and Sue's nodding at me. That's exactly what we're worried about. So we're going to be careful and not kill ourselves as we try to fix the church too. So, now would be as good a time as any to talk about the pews. If you've been a member of our church, you've seen that the pews are just ripping out. The church is roughly 30 years old, and the fabric is just rotting. It's worse where the sun has hit the fabric, and we have received a number of bids. The best bid that we went with the guy who did great work, was for, I believe it was for $18,000. And that is to reupholster all of the pews. We still have to pick a fabric and we still have to pick a color. And there's no real rush to do this because we have to wait until we hear from our loan organization. Every year our church gets our loan reapproved, which is kind of a pain in the neck. However, you have to understand, we get a discount on our interest rate and on our monthly payment as well. And they've worked with us when our times have not been good. And so Church Extension Fund, CEF, does some great work, and they've been working with us for 18 years. Well, they may increase our loan amount that we have to pay each month. They did last year because God has blessed our church and we can pay more. And so we are not sure what they're going to do. We'll find out around March or April. And our bid is good for 1 year for these pews. And right around that time, that's when our congregation will ask you to decide if we can go forward with this big purchase and fix the pews. We put it into our budget, and everyone saw that, and that was approved, of course, in December. But it's probably good with a large purchase like this to just kind of all be on the same page. And, of course, we'll have to pick a color. I probably won't have a whole lot to do with that. I'm not colorblind, but I don't know that I have good taste. So we'll just trust other people that make our church look so beautiful. Any questions at all? And maybe if you wanted to ask a question, I could tell the sound desk to maybe look in the chat boxes online if there are any. They're looking around. Emmy said there's nothing. So, moving on. Our elder report. We are trying our best to kind of gauge our attendance, and that's online as well. I think I've plugged before about how our minutes watched is important because that's a better gauge, because a view on Facebook is 6 seconds. And a view on YouTube is as soon as somebody loads the page on their computer. So it's relatively meaningless. So I like the minutes watched as a more absolute barometer as to how many people are viewing. But then again, even if you have one home with 4 people, that just shows up as 1 view or 1 minute watched, even though there's 4 souls there who are taking in. So we're going to try our best. Nothing is perfect, of course. And as long as God's word gets out, I guess it doesn't really matter how many people are watching. But we're going to try to make it as wide a net as possible. I think, Emmy, you got to click back on to the slideshow for my clicker to work, babe. And Emerson is working on it. There we go. Yes. Reach out to us if we have missed you or if you know of someone who needs to be contacted during this time. Finally, the financial report. There's not much to say. The whole congregation gets the finances every Saturday. Penny does a great job keeping me updated, and not Jan, Laura McKee does an awesome job getting us those numbers. And we're only $1,000 behind our proposed budget, which was very aggressive. And I know that there are some people who have expressed concern already in the first month, and I've said, even if we don't meet our budget, we're watching all this and we can meet our expense or lower that. So it's kind of a balancing act, but we've gotten pretty good at walking that tightrope during our lean years for the past decade. So we're going to do our best to be faithful stewards with what God has given us. And I think those numbers are current for this year. And I guess that's the end of the slideshow. Yeah. Any questions at all? Yes. Chris. Okay. Yes. Not much has happened this year. I guess I should have put it in 2021. It's roughly the same. Mary hotbed. In fact, there were some people who didn't know that because I announced it last Saturday. It was last Saturday, wasn't it? Yeah. Last Saturday, God called Mary hotbed home. And so we had the graveside, the committal service on Friday afternoon. And I buried Mary and Dave at the same time. So that should be one less communicant. But that's been the only change in 2021. Good question, Chris. It should not be empty, and that is. Anything else? Not seeing any questions. Not seeing any online. The sound desk is shaking their head at me. That is all that I have for you. We will offer our Ash Wednesday service online, of course, so you can watch us on Wednesday night. I can't offer you free ashes online, though. You have to come here if you want the ashes. So, there are no other announcements. May God give you all a blessed week.